Welcome to Lotus Lane Daily. I'm glad you're here. Today's wisdom is for anyone going through something hard. You know that feeling when you sleep 8 hours or 9, or you take the whole weekend to rest, and you wake up and you are still tired? Not a little tired. Tired in your bones, behind your eyes, in a way that sleep does not touch. You drag yourself through the day, you tell people you are just a bit run down, and privately you are starting to feel frightened because the one thing that is supposed to fix tiredness is not fixing it. If you are reading this at 2 a.m., wide awake and yet exhausted, that contradiction, confused and a little scared, you are not imagining it. Exhaustion that sleep will not fix is real, it is common, and it has reasons. Let us go through them honestly. Why sleep stopped working. The first thing to understand is that tiredness and sleepiness are not the same thing. Sleepiness is the body asking for sleep, and sleep answers it. The exhaustion you are describing is something else. It is depletion. And depletion is not refilled by lying down because the thing that emptied it is still running. Think of it this way. If a tap is left on, the sink keeps draining no matter how much water you pour in. Sleep is the pouring in. But if something is keeping the tap open all night and all day, you can pour and the level never rises. The real question is not why is the sink empty, but what is keeping the tap open. There are usually a few candidates and they often overlap. The usual causes, named plainly. Your body might genuinely be unwell. Persistent, unexplained exhaustion is a real medical symptom, not a character flaw. Low iron, an underactive thyroid, vitamin deficiencies, blood sugar problems, sleep apnea where you sleep all night but never rest, lingering effects of an infection, side effects of medication, and a long list of other conditions all produce exactly this. This is the first thing to rule in or out, and it requires a doctor and some basic blood work, not more willpower. If you take one thing from this article, let it be that get the physical causes checked properly before you assume it is anything else. Your nervous system might be stuck on. If you have spent months or years in a low-grade state of stress, vigilance, or worry, your body has been running its emergency systems continuously. That is enormously expensive. It produces a specific kind of fatigue, where you are wired and exhausted at the same time, too depleted to function, but too activated to truly rest. Sleep cannot win against a system that never powers down. It might be the early shape of depression. People expect depression to look like sadness. Very often, especially early, it looks like this instead. Flat, heavy exhaustion. No energy for things you used to enjoy. A grayness over everything. If the tiredness comes with a loss of interest, a sense of pointlessness, or a low mood you cannot shift, that is worth taking seriously and saying out loud to a professional. It is not weakness. It is a treatable condition with a physical symptom, and the symptom is fatigue. It might be the bill for a life with no real recovery in it. Rest is not the same as recovery. You can spend a weekend on the sofa scrolling and answering messages and worrying, and end it just as depleted, because none of that actually restored anything. Many people have not had a genuinely restorative stretch, mentally or physically, in years. The exhaustion is the accumulated unpaid debt. What to actually do. See a doctor and ask directly. Say the specific words, I am exhausted in a way that sleep does not fix, and I want to check the physical causes. Ask for blood work. Do not let it be waved away as stress before the basics have been looked at. You are allowed to take up that space. A clear physical answer, or a clear all clear, is the ground everything else stands on. Look honestly at what is keeping the tap open. If the physical checks come back clear, the question becomes what your life is asking of you that never lets up. What worry runs in the background at all hours? What responsibility has no off switch? What you have been carrying for so long that you stopped noticing its weight? You do not have to fix it tonight, but naming it is the start. Build recovery, not just rest. Recovery is different from collapse. It is the things that genuinely settle your nervous system. Time outdoors in real daylight, especially in the morning. Movement that is gentle, not punishing. Stretches of time with no screen and no input. Real contact with people who are easy to be around. Even small amounts of true recovery do more than long stretches of depleted, not quite rest. Protect actual sleep quality. Even though sleep is not the whole answer, broken sleep makes everything worse. A consistent sleep and wake time, a dark, cool room, a wind down without a screen in your face, less caffeine and alcohol than feels reasonable. And if you snore heavily, wake unrefreshed, or feel sleepy through the day, ask specifically about sleep apnea, which is common and very treatable and often missed. Take one thing off the list. A line from an old philosophical text is useful here. 100 theories without a single action are worthless, and even one small step taken with determination changes everything. You do not need to redesign your whole life this week. You need one real, concrete reduction in the load, one commitment paused, one responsibility handed off, one thing you do out of habit or guilt that you stop doing for a month. One step, taken honestly, is worth more than a perfect plan you never start. The quiet thing underneath. Exhaustion this deep usually carries a message, and the message is rarely just about sleep. Often it is the body saying, with the only language it has, that something in the shape of your life is not sustainable, that you have been giving out more than is coming in for a long time, that you have treated your own limits as obstacles to push through rather than as real information. The old writers had a definition of health worth holding on to, that health is not merely the absence of illness, but a state of having genuine vitality, enough life force in you to meet what the day brings. By that honest measure, you are not well right now, not because you have failed at anything, but because you have been running without refueling. Naming that is not defeat, it is the first accurate thing, and accuracy is where recovery starts. The same writers also said, plainly, that stress and negativity weaken the body while hope and rest and even laughter strengthen it. That is not a slogan to feel guilty about. It is permission. Permission to treat rest and recovery as real needs rather than luxuries you have to earn, and to stop being the last item on your own list. For tonight, you are not lazy, you are not weak, you are not imagining it. You are tired in a way that has a cause, and causes can be found, and most of them can be helped. Tonight, you do not have to solve any of it. Tomorrow, write down one sentence to bring to a doctor, and choose one thing you will take off your plate this week. That's the whole task. The fact that you are this tired and still searching for an answer, still trying to understand it rather than just enduring it, tells you something. There is still energy in you for hope, even now. That is not nothing. That is the part of you that recovery is going to be built on. Be patient with yourself. You have been running on empty for a long time, and refilling is allowed to be slow. Start tonight by simply letting that be true. That's the wisdom for today. If something here landed for you, share it with one person who might need to hear it too. Take it slow. I'll see you tomorrow on Lotus Lane Daily.